All right, let's talk about something that's, pretty mission critical for anyone working in SAP. We're diving into how to run those super complex building processes without making mistakes that, well, you can't take back. I mean, when just one click can seriously impact the company's bottom line, you absolutely have to be sure every single step is perfect.
Okay, so let's jump right in. To really get what's at stake here, you first have to appreciate just how tangled this can get. What you're looking at is SAP's Convergent Invoicing, and it's basically the central hub, right? It's pulling in data from everywhere, external billing systems, your CRM, convergent charging, you name it. It's incredibly powerful, for sure. But man, with all those moving parts, it's also a place where a lot can go wrong.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? When a single billing run could touch thousands of accounts and make financial postings that are, permanent, how do you click execute with total confidence? How do you avoid those mistakes that you just can't undo? The ones that lead to wrong invoices and, let's be honest, some really painful financial cleanup.
Well, thankfully, SAP doesn't just leave you hanging. It gives you a really powerful set of tools to manage all this risk. So here's what we're going to do. We'll talk about why billing is so high stakes. Then we'll open up your toolkit. We'll walk through what I like to call the rehearsal, the finale, and even the director's chair modes. And then we'll pull it all together into one smart workflow.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's open up that toolkit. When it comes to running billing safely, the whole system really boils down to 3 key modes you need to know. So understanding these 3 options is absolutely key. Think of it this way. Simulation is your dress rehearsal. It's all about testing and verifying everything looks right but with zero financial impact. It's just practice. Then you have update mode. That's opening night. It's the live performance. This is the real deal, creating permanent documents that actually post to finance. And finally, there's dialog mode. That's for when you need to be the director, making fine-tuned, interactive changes while the show is running.
Okay, first up, let's talk about your most important safety net, simulation mode. Seriously, this is the feature that lets you see the future, but without any of the risk. So what is it? Well, at its core, a simulation run is exactly what it sounds like. It's a full test of the entire billing process. It goes through all the motions, it creates temporary documents that you can look at and check, but, and this is the most important part, it makes absolutely zero permanent financial postings. It's a complete, totally consequence-free preview.
And you know what's great? Look how simple it is to use this super powerful safety feature. It all comes down to this one little checkbox. As long as simulation run is checked, you are in the safe zone. That's it. Simple as that. So let's break down what that means for you. You get to create and look at these simulated billing documents, right? But nothing, and I mean nothing, gets posted to financial accounting. It lets you preview the final document before it becomes real. And because it's just a simulation, it has no influence whatsoever on the actual update run you'll do later. And you can't reverse it because there's nothing real to reverse in the first place.
All right, so let's say you've run your simulation, you've checked all the documents, and everything looks absolutely perfect. Now it's time for the main event, the finale, the update run. And here's the thing, going live is just as simple as running the test. You go right back to that same screen, but this time you uncheck that simulation run box. That one little click is you telling the system, okay, this is for real now, this is not a drill. That means the run is final and it is going to post financially. This is the part you can't just undo.
And putting them side by side like this makes the difference just crystal clear, right? You've got your simulation run on one side. That's for testing, no financial postings. It creates temporary stuff and is safe to run whenever. Then on the other side, you have the update run. That's for production. That's live billing. It posts to the general ledger, creates permanent documents, and the actions are final. It is literally rehearsal versus reality. And if you mix these up, you're not just fixing a typo. You're looking at some seriously complex financial reversals and probably some very unhappy customers.
But what if you need to be a little more hands-on? Especially during a really complex or maybe a one-of-a-kind billing run. Well, that's where you get to step into the director's chair. That's dialog mode.
Think of dialog mode as your chance to, direct the action in real time. Instead of just kicking off a process and hoping for the best, this interactive mode actually lets you control or even change specific functions while the billing process is running.
This gives you a ton of flexibility. You can set functions to be active and you can't turn it off. Think of something like a core tax calculation. That has to run. But you can also have things that are active, but you can turn them off. Maybe a special surcharge that you need to disable for just one particular customer. Or you can even have things that are not active, but you can turn them on if you need to. It's all about giving you that fine-grained control over a single specific run. Okay, so we've got our 3 powerful modes: simulation, update, and dialog. Now let's put it all together and see how they combine into a smart, safe, and effective workflow.
And the best part is, we don't even have to guess what the best practice is. The official documentation spells it out for us perfectly. It says, to check whether the billing process is working as planned, you execute this in dialog and simulation mode before executing it as an update run. It's right there in black and white.
So what does that look like in practice? It's a really simple, repeatable 3-step process. Step 1, simulate. Execute the process in both dialog and simulation mode first. This gives you maximum control and complete safety. Step 2, analyze. Check those simulated billing documents. Make sure every line, every number is accurate. And then, and only then, step 3, execute. Once you've verified everything, you perform the final update run. Simulate, analyze, execute. That little mantra is your key to accurate, error-free billing.
So the big takeaway here is that this isn't just, some abstract theory. Understanding the difference between simulation, update, and dialog mode is the foundation of a practical, everyday method you can use to protect your data and avoid really costly mistakes. This is about one of your most critical business processes. So the only real question left is, what's the first process you're going to test with this workflow?